Let's cross to Lismore in northern New South Wales, a town that's still recovering from two devastating floods earlier this year. Nationals leader David Littleproud is there on his listening tour and he joins me now. Thanks for joining us again, David. Flood issues south of where you are now, but how's the recovery going in Lismore?
Yeah, look, slow. And look, our thoughts are with those in Victoria and particularly Echuca, where we just need them to get through the next couple of days. But it's also important not to forget the absolute tragedy that unfolded here 8 months ago in Lismore. The recovery is slow, and in fact, so much so is that we're now waiting, and the community's now waiting on the federal government to make an announcement of whether they'll buy back, swap land, or actually improve households in terms of mitigation works, in which Queensland put out a proposal which, when we were in government, approved within 2 days. The federal government's been sitting on this for over 2 weeks and have yet to make an announcement. I mean, people here are on hold. They need certainty and they want confidence. And I sat with many families today that just want to know exactly their future. And the federal government's holding on this just for an announcement. They've had it for 2 weeks. When Anastasia Palaszczuk said that we'd do this in Queensland, without even asking for an application, it took us less than two days to be able to prove it. The New South Wales government sent this application to the federal government, Jim Chalmers and the Prime Minister 2 weeks ago, and haven't heard a thing. And that's adding to their anxiety. In fact, sat with 10 children from a local school today who just showed great strength of what they've gone through, but they want certainty too. They want certainty of mum and dad knowing whether they're going to rebuild on a house or whether they're going to sell their land or sell their home and move on to another part of Lismore.
This is critical, right?
This shouldn't happen.
This is critical in Lismore, but this is critical around the country, isn't it? Why aren't we building up resilience? It surprises me, as someone who first worked in the Riverland of South Australia, I know the issues of the Murray and flooding. It surprises me that all river towns don't have levee banks around them that can protect them from at least the record floods, at least the levels we know they've been before, rather than be scurrying around trying to build them now as the floodwaters approach.
Oh, totally. And it's not just about the buybacks, it's actually about those mitigation works. CSIRO is finally doing a study on this, and the community wants to know, and so too does business here in the main street of Lismore, whether insurance companies will back them into the future, because the mitigation works that need to be done should be done. But we've got some green elements within the council are saying, don't worry about engineering, just replant the landscape and it'll all be okay. We've got to trust the engineering. People still need to live, and this is where we need to get out of their road. We need to use practical common sense here in supporting these communities, giving them confidence. And firstly, some of these houses have been and businesses have been put in places that we're not going to be able to protect entirely, and so there needs to be pragmatic decisions about that, but they need certainty. And then where it isn't, you need mitigation, and mitigation comes with engineering, science and technology that can get the balance right. And unfortunately, we've got a federal government that's sitting on this and obviously just waiting to come and do an announcement rather than actually giving certainty to this community, having sat on an application for the New South Wales government for a couple of weeks. I mean, we sat on it for less than 2 days and approved it in Queensland. This government is really being hypocritical when they said we were all about announcement. At least we delivered. We gave the cheque, we cut the cheque. I don't know whether they're waiting for Anthony Albanese to get back to Lismore, but no one really cares here. You know, these families don't give a rat's. They just want certainty.
Well, we've got to fix this stuff. Yeah, as you say, mitigation, planning controls, working out where people can live, where they can't. Because we're always going to have floods. Yeah, mitigation through dam construction. But I want to show you a little bit of what Anthony Albanese tweeted from Tasmania today, because it goes to this. He's referring to someone he says by the name of Michael. He says they've been families in Latrobe in Tasmania for generations. And he says this is his third major flood in just over a decade. And he's worried climate change is going to mean extreme weather gets even worse for his kids and grandkids. And Albanese says he's working with state and local governments to support people affected by floods, but they're taking strong action on climate change that Australians voted for. I mean, this delusion that somehow what we do with renewable energy is going to stop floods in the future is just dangerous, isn't it? We just have to get cracking and learn to protect ourselves from floods, because they will always happen.
Well, despite the fact that Tim Flannery said it would never rain again, it is, and raining in big quantities. And so wouldn't common sense tell you that you catch it, you harvest it, you mitigate against the floods for communities with building dams? We had $7.1 billion that Barnaby Joyce and Michael McCormack got in the last budget. They're secured over the last couple of years for states to go and build dams. And now we've got Catherine King and Tanya Plibersek now saying all under review, actually not going to do it. That doesn't give certainty around not just mitigation, but growing our economy. You can use this thing called common sense where you not only mitigate, you can grow regional Australia with building dams. And this is the ideology that's coming in since the Labor government's come in. Is that 7.1 billion, I suspect, is gone. In fact, a dam, even in my own electorate, Emu Swamp Dam, is gone. The mayor there has basically been told, don't hold on to it. Yet we were tanking water from Warwick to Stanthorpe, and they're going to take that away from us and take away the productive opportunity for farmers. I mean, if you want to grow the pie, you got to put the infrastructure as a government, and water is key to that. But it's also about the amenity for you to turn a tap on. Our population's going up, but no one's bothered to dig a hole to make sure that we've got the amenity of water. So this just comes back to common sense and start drilling some holes.
Yeah, we're great at building windmills and electric car charging stations, but we can't build dams. Thanks for joining us, David. Appreciate it. David Littleproud there, the Nationals leader, joining us from Lismore.